Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New Jersey Titans Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Tom Willms, and joining me, of course, is the head coach and GM of the New Jersey Titans, Craig Doremus. Craig, thanks so much for taking the time tonight.
Thanks for having me, Tommy. I appreciate it.
Well, first off, how was the break? I mean, you had a few weeks, off of game time at least, but able to spend time with the family, able to recharge?
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously, with what's going on recently in the world with the COVID outbreak, it was a little bit more quiet and subdued than a typical year would be. But nonetheless, got to see some of my family, some of my wife's family as well, and just spend some time away from the rink with my own wife and children, and tried to do as much as possible with them. You don't get to spend much time with the boys, so anytime you get some of that downtime, it's great. And just to be around them for a couple of weeks is different, and it was good to see and experience some different real life stuff with those guys, and we had a lot of fun. Short lived. It goes quick. Those 2 weeks fly by.
Yeah, so true. I was able to go up to Long Island to visit my family as well. So again, good to have some time off, but now back into game action. Did it take long when the guys got back into town to really get back into business mode? And in general, does it take long?
Yeah, I think the guys came back excited. There was a little youthful exuberance around the rink all last week, and I think being back together and looking forward to the Maryland series was great. And the guys were just eager and excited to be back around one another and get back to work. I think the break was good in that it was long enough, but not too long. And again, they were really pumped up to be back together and on the ice.
Well, not the easiest of ways to get back into game action. You got to play the second place team in the Maryland Black Bears. You head down to DC to take them on for a couple of games. We'll start with game one. Down 1-0 after one. Responded well, as you tend to do this year. Take a 2-1 lead after two. They took the lead right back, but then Ryan Coughlin ties it up. And, nothing quite gets you back into the swing of game action like a game like that. Again, especially against a top-tier team like the Black Bears.
Yeah, it was a good hockey game. It was hard. It was honest. It was fast. I think it was probably not the cleanest game for either team. But nonetheless, I thought it was really fun to be part of and watch. And, I think both teams leaned on each other at times, and both teams probably just defended for a bit more than they would have liked. And hence the result, right? It's tied going into an overtime period there. So compliments to both teams with the performance they had coming off both teams a 2-week break.
Well, you were outshot in regulation in that one, 49-26, but you own overtime, picking up pretty much you had possession the entire time, the only 3 shots of the period. Overtime is such a different animal. Regulation play is more of a flow. It's going to go back and forth, but it's so key in overtime to keep that puck. If you don't have the right shot, come right back out and reset. Is that something that is talked about, worked on as far as practice is concerned, and then right before the overtime as well?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we addressed. You had mentioned there, I think Maryland had the benefit of a little hometown in terms of the stat keeping there. The shots on net for the game, I think were 37, 33, or 34. They were a lot closer than the score indicated. We actually had 22 shots on net in the second period alone. So the game was a lot closer than I think that meets the eye. In terms of the overtime philosophy there, it's definitely something we talk about, possessing the puck and creating different matchups based on speed, and obviously counterattacks are always talked about, but you want to try to possess the puck for as much as you possibly could. I thought throughout that overtime period, we did a really good job of that. We minimized the amount of time we were on the defense chasing the puck, and I thought our guys did a good job of matching up with them speed-wise and situationally. And when we got the puck, I thought we did a really good job of creating different matchups that were difficult for them to defend.
All that work did pay off. The overtime winner by Nick Ring. So 2 points on the night. You build a little bit of a cushion in the standings. But the next night, another seesaw game. Brendan Dumas scored just 33 seconds in, and you had to feel good about that with that start. Yeah,
I thought our energy and our start was excellent on Saturday. I thought, to be honest, throughout the entire game, I thought our game was much better on Saturday night as a whole. Unfortunately, come up on the short end of it. But what a start by Brendan there, gets us off going. I thought through the first 10, we were as good as we've been, at any point.
So as we mentioned, Dumas scoring 33 seconds in, they tie the game. They took the lead. Tommy Bannister responds right away. Late in the third, they pull away with 2 quick goals. Again, it's so tough. I mean, 60 minutes, everyone says you got to play that 60-minute game, but even that 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute stretch can doom you. And I'm sure that's something that was talked about throughout that game. And then when those 2 quick goals, two goals a minute 28 apart, you probably said right there, you know what, guys, that's enough. You got to stop.
Yeah, and something we even we addressed today as we reviewed the film of the games. Just making some adjustments and corrections from it, learning wise. Bobby and Kyle went over with the team just a couple of the critical errors there that they were able to take advantage of. And it was a couple of poor plays by us strung together that lead to that. On the game-winning goal, it's an unfortunate bounce that goes off Colin Grable into the back of the net. And then on the fourth one, they move the puck really well. I don't think we defend particularly well, but they make it end up nice tic-tac-toe play that finds the back of the net there. But again, so many errors that are on the ice that lead to that play by us. So just stuff we have to tighten up and be better on. And they're a quality hockey team. And if you give them chances like that, you're going to find yourself chasing the game.
So that ends a 6-game winning streak. Again, all streaks tend to come to an end. So what can you do? You move forward to this weekend against Maine. Disappointing, I'm sure. You outshoot them by 10, according to the official stats on the website. And so by that measure, the chances were certainly there, as you mentioned. We'll talk about the one tender this week real quickly. This past week, Matt Whirl out of the CarShield AAA program in the St. Louis area, somewhat local product from South Salem, New York, up near Poughkeepsie, and out of John Jay High School, which is a pretty good high school program in that area. 43 games, 32 goals, 32 points rather, 15 goals. So certainly big time congratulations to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Comes from a storied youth hockey program in the NAPHL. He fared well at the showcase in December there. And I know our assistant coach, Kyle Shapiro, was familiar with him as well from being locally down at the rink as well at a camp or two. So obviously, congratulations to Matty there. I know he was excited to be part of it. We're excited to bring him into camp over the summer and give an opportunity to earn a spot on a hockey team. We've heard nothing but good things about him off the ice as well. And we think he fits our culture extremely well.
So after the weekend, you're still in first place by 2 points. You look forward to the next opportunity. It's what it's all about in this league, the league of opportunity. The next one, the Maine Nordiques. Now, you've handled them pretty well. You've won 6 of them, all six meetings actually this year against them. You obviously can't let that creep into anyone's heads except for confidence. How do you kind of balance that when talking to the guys?
I think you just have to have a short-term memory in terms of, like you said, respecting every opponent, not necessarily fearing them, but respecting them, and doing what's gotten us to be successful at this point. Having a good week of preparation, both on and off the ice, and making sure that tactically we're ready to go in terms of what we want to achieve in all 3 zones and all situations on the ice. And like you mentioned, it's an important weekend for us now to rebound, to get right back on it here and hopefully start another extended winning streak here. We know we fared well against them. We can't run and hide from that, but nevertheless, they're a quality opponent. They're fighting for their playoff lives as well. They have talent up and down their roster in all 3 positions as well. And they're always going to give you the best effort. You got to make sure that you're willing and ready to compete and execute what you want to achieve, because they're talented, they're skilled, they're fast, they can find the back of the net, and you want to make sure you're eliminating as much time and space as possible. So
best way to start a streak is to do it at home, right? You got the next 7 at the Middletown Sports Complex. No bus legs, no hotels. You carry an 8-5 record, which is okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's something you'd want to improve upon, though. I'm sure moving forward in this 7-game stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're lucky enough here where the back half of our schedule is more loaded with home games than it was in the first part of the season. I think we have 17 home games in the second part of the season here. So we have to make sure we're playing well at our complex there. And like you mentioned, there's quote unquote no excuses, little cliches, but it's obviously something we want to make sure we take advantage of in terms of making sure that we're prepared and ready to go and giving our fans something to cheer for and be excited about coming to the building weekend after weekend. 7-game home streak here now. And, big games for us. Nonetheless, we're in a tight battle here and nothing is guaranteed in terms of the playoffs or positioning or where we're going to end up here. We got to make sure that we earn it every day. And I think our guys are well aware of that. We want to make sure that we kind of focus shift to shift, period to period, game to game here. Don't look too far ahead and certainly don't look back.
Well, the Nordiques, as we mentioned, had a bit of a down season after last year's winning of the division. They're shining this year as the power play. They're listed at 25.7%. That's best in the division, 3rd in the league. As much as you don't want to back off from being aggressive, you don't want to cross that line too often. You want to cut that run to the penalty box. How do you play that?
I think you got to be smart in terms of how you defend. You got to make sure you defend it by moving your feet and touching pucks. Can't take any lazy, selfish penalties that are going to force you to kill there. Like you said, you got to respect the success they've had. 25% clip is nothing to raise your eyebrows about at any level. It's impressive. I don't care what level of hockey you're playing at. It's an impressive power play percentage. And those guys have some really talented young men on their roster who know how to make plays and find the back of the net. And obviously you can't give them that time and space to do so. You got to be smart, know it's one of their strengths and do everything you can to make sure you don't give them those opportunities.
Now, this weekend, as we mentioned, 2-game set against the Maine Nordiques, Friday at 7:30, Saturday at 7. Make sure you go to njtitansnahl.com for tickets and information. You can get tickets at the door. And if you can't make it out, if you're out of town or what have you, I'll have you covered on Hockey TV with the pregame show starting about 10 minutes before each puck drop. Craig, thanks so much for taking the time, and best of luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me, Tom. I appreciate it.
Well, that'll do it for another edition of the New Jersey Titans Coaches Corner. My name is Tom Willms, and we will see you real soon.